everybody, this is Tim from Timberworker, and today I'm going to take you around my workshop. So this is what I see when I come in through the door. Over on the right I have my Turco multi-carver, which I'll be honest I haven't used anywhere near as much as I thought I would, but I've just rejigged the workshop so it's in a much easier position, and I plan to use that in some videos this year. Over on the left you can see the workbench that I made as part of the Woodworking UK competition in the middle of 2017, and that's what really got this old garage started as a workshop. So looking from the workbench across to the Turco multi-carver, it has a little Makita router in there. But what I also keep on there is all of my safety equipment, glasses, ear defenders, masks, hats when it gets cold, full face shield, some gloves for when I'm doing resin stuff, and I've also got a spare mask and 2 pairs of goggles there just in case any of my children come out here while I'm working. It's even more important to keep them safe really. I've just bought a little heater that goes on there as well. That just keeps the chill off mainly. Moving on from the safety gear, I keep some of my sheet goods tucked away here. All of these pretty much come from a little wood recycling place over in Derby, so they are very cheap. Some of them, I don't know if you can see that, some of them come with some lines already sort of CNC cut in there, so you just have to watch where you're actually cutting around, but the price, I'm not going to complain. In this filing cabinet, keep some of the tools I use often, you know, like this cheap jigsaw. I also keep a lot of my hand planes, like this one, which I won recently in a competition from Woodworking UK. So thanks very much for that. Some of the other ones that I pick up from boot sales. Can't wait for the boot sale season to get started again this year. Other bits and pieces in here. Got some leather or leatherette type strings, which I'm going to use or have used in some pendants and things that I've made. Just other general rubbish goes in down there. Over here, this is mostly a job lot of what was being sold as firewood. It's all nice solid oak. Didn't cost me a great deal. The guy just came up with a trailer full and dumped it on the drive. I have a small amount of some bits of spalted beech as well down here, which I bought off a guy in Derby. I've used some bits and pieces for Bandsaw boxes and that kind of thing, and the keyring video that I did not so long ago. I have here a, not 100% sure what make it is, but it's definitely very old. It's a table saw. I've never actually used the saw part of it, and a little planer as well. I keep my other older tools, like an old Black & Decker router, saw, drills, and over here I have my little drill stand that I made just from a few bits of ply, an old-fashioned pillar drill. I don't use that very much because I've got another one, and there's my old motor trade toolbox. So there's lots of tools in there that aren't really much use for woodworking at all, but you know, I'm never going to sell them, so I've got to go somewhere. On the other side of the workbench, what you can see, there's a bit of a recurring theme here. I've got a box with my mallet in that I won in a competition, some Japanese chisels that I won in a competition. I keep my mallet here. This is one that I actually made in my very first video, and that is what won me this mallet and the chisels. I've got some IKEA pegboard, which I just hang a few bits and pieces off. Here's my bench dogs and bits and pieces that I can just slot in to the workbench. Some saws, Some of these, I think they're called duck clamps, just because of the shape of them. Lots of tapes, pens, pencils, keep those all in there because, as we all know, you will lose pencils if you have a workshop. Down there is where I keep my lathe. Again, another cheap one. I think this one was off Gumtree, which works with some of my old vintage Black & Decker drills. And then when I want to use it, all I do, take it off the hook, lift it up, it sits on the bench, the bench dogs push up to stop it from moving backwards, and then I'll just put a clamp there, clamp the other end, and we're off and turning. So yeah, I've used that quite a lot. One day I'd like to upgrade to a full proper lathe, but I don't know where I'd put it. I'll have to rejig the workshop around again. So I'm going to keep that one on the back burner for a while. So over here I keep my Black & Decker bandsaw, which, as anybody who's ever spotted it tends to comment, is variable speed. It does the job. It does struggle when I've cut through some of that sort of 3-inch thick spalted beech, but it gets through. A bit of sanding needed just to clean it up. More pegboard again with some coping saws, fret saws. Keep my old auger drill in there. All the bits sit in there. Up here we have what is now a clamp rack. It used to be a towel rail, but it works very well. Got some corner clamps on the wall as well. Keep some more chisels, bits and pieces over here. Router table with the cheapest, easiest, quickest upcycled router lift on YouTube. Possibly, who knows, but I've done a very quick video on that, which I'll put a link to. Scroll saw I keep over here, scroll saw bits in this little box that I made. I just pull that out, same with the bandsaw really, just pull it out and mount it on the workbench whenever I'm going to use it. So down here on the floor I keep my compressor, I keep sander, toolbox with all my sanding discs and stuff in, polishes, got the old Black & Decker storage box for one of my Black & Decker drills, and a lot of the sort of multifunctional attachments which you might see in videos from time to time. I've got my homemade cyclone vacuum, which doesn't actually have a cyclone, but it uses, in the top there you can just about see a Dyson bend, which I picked up from a boot sale again, bit of a recurring theme there. And it works. It's not as good as a proper full-on cyclone, but it means it fits underneath the workbench and doesn't take up very much space. And the vacuum cleaner that powers it is just an old Hoover, picked up off Facebook for free, and just tucked away there. Over here, a lot of my tools I've put into little toolboxes. Homebase had a sale on. Most of those toolboxes were £2. Keep other bits and pieces down there, and then through there got some more wood, some nice wood at the back there, which unfortunately is too big for my lathe at the moment, so I can't turn it. Yeah, just a few other bits and bobs underneath there. So here, just screw to the table, we have another Black & Decker pillar drill, which any of my Black & Decker drills, of which I've got 4, will fit in this. Use it quite a lot. Again, cheap. It's car boot sale, about £3 or £4. It's not as good as a full-on pillar drill, but space-wise it works. I can just unscrew it and put it out of the way if I ever need to. So yeah, another thumbs up for the boot sale. Okay, so I've made space because I wasn't using my table saw very often. So what I've done is I've made space for it over here. I can always pull it out and just put it back over here if I ever want to use it. On top of it there's the table saw sled that I made. I have unscrewed half of it just so it fits in the space, but it will always go back in. This was the home base when I had the sale on. Mitre saw stand. I've not even got around to mounting my mitre saw on there, but for 30 quid. It's a bit less than that actually, because there was another discount on top of that. So, you know, for let's say 25-30 quid, it's too good to turn down. There is a little table that we keep just out of the way to use. I normally mount my belt sander on that when I want to use it. All along here are shelves which go to the up and over garage door. Beyond this line is all the non-woodworking stuff in the garage. I didn't want it anywhere around, you know, I've got a plan at some point to either board with plywood along here, or put up some kind of a sheet, dust sheet, just to keep everything completely clean. But most of the stuff, as you can see, is in the boxes. As far as woodworking equipment goes, I've got some other bits and pieces hanging up on the wall. There's the mitre saw, that hasn't been used in I don't know how long, but again it was just a cheap Aldi or Lidl, one or the other. Up there I've got some hairpin legs which I will use at some point. I keep my clamps, they're just hanging up there out of the way. All my larger clamps, that is, and pry bars, you know, because the clamp rack is not really equipped for those. The only other thing really to point out is, you may well notice, all the bikes. Obviously this is a garage, it's a family garage, I need to keep everything in here. It was getting a pain to wheel the bikes in and out all the time, so all I've done, I've strung some wire cable from one side to the other, and then got a load of bungee cords, and then the bikes just hang up out of the way. So that was a quick tour around my workshop, including a very brief look at the wood store I've got outside. 2018 I'm going to really focus on getting some videos out. Hopefully you'll see a lot more of the workshop as it goes round. I've literally just finished reworking how this is all laid out, so it's a case of waiting and see if it works. If it doesn't, you know, you might see things move around again over the course of the year. So thanks for watching, I'll see you again soon.